Bommireddy, Vice President, Engineering, Providence, India, to deliver the keynote address. Vasudha is a seasoned leader with 21 plus years of varied experience across the US and India, playing several technology leadership roles at global organizations, including Providence, Microsoft, Intel, and Alliance Global Services. She has extensive experience championing the design and development of high availability enterprise solutions with widespread impact. At Providence, India, as VP of Engineering, Vasudha drives the transformation of technology that supports corporate functions such as HR, finance, supply chain, and real estate. Her team builds technology solutions for employee facing experiences and tools across the verticals, easing the way for caregivers through organizations. Vasudha's notable achievements across her tenure, including building a tech platform for the smooth onboarding process of new hires with focus on day one employee experience and delight, and delivering a next generation invoicing platform to support the new Azure business models and defense slash government solutions in private secure cloud. Vasudha is recognized as a transformational leader with a problem solving approach, open to bold ideas executed with realistic planning and sharp business acumen. Well versed in nurturing cross cultural global teams, Vasudha provides leadership and strategy to teams in offshore engagements through engineering best practices, effective hiring, and strategic vendor engagements. Vasudha is also a passionate advocate of diversity and inclusion in workplaces and a business sponsor for DEI at Providence, India. She is an alumnus of Chaitanya Bharati Institute of Technology, India, and holds a master's in computer engineering from Santa Clara University, California. Over to you, Vasudha.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vasudha Bommireddy. Opportunity to connect with you through myAvtar Virtual Job Fair for Women 2023. The topic for this event today is Steer Your Career. These three words are very powerful and really resonate with me. I certainly have driven my career in many directions, fortunately, mostly moving forward, but I did take some side turns and maybe even a couple of U-turns before proceeding forward. So today I'm happy to share my experiences on my own career journey. What does it mean by steering your own career? For me, firstly, I needed to define my own compass. When I say, what's your compass? What is the north that you want to head towards and not what the north the world defines for you? In other words, what is your priorities that makes you truly happy when you're true to yourself? What is your career philosophy? What is your work philosophy? And why do we do this? Because once you define this compass, then your actions are aligned to your values and beliefs and help us have a balanced and more fulfilling career as well as life. And also because this helps us recognize what are unique enablers and constraints within our own ecosystem that define our journey. Now, I wish I knew what my compass was when I was 21 years old when I started my career. No, this did not come easy for me. At the beginning of my career, I was very driven, very competitive, and certainly, was on a path where I wanted to really go ahead of others. This worked great until I had my first child and then my second. During that phase of my kids being really young and in a very, very demanding job with an accelerated growth path in a small startup, I really had a tough time. And it really took a toll on me in terms of the work-life balance. And that kind of forced me to pause and reflect on what is my compass. I was doing really well in my career, but was very unhappy and feeling guilty about not being able to spend time with my children. And I was also aware this time will never come back in a few years. So I then created my own compass, what my priorities were. I truly looked at my career at that time as a marathon and not as a sprint. And as an engineer all my life, I realized I have to define a prioritization framework which might differ from sprint to sprint. Once I did that, I took my first break from that demanding job. But one thing was very clear to me, that I for sure wanted to stay in the race. And that helped me during the 12 years since my kid was born to she was 12. I took 3 breaks, totaling almost 6 years. But each time I somehow found the resilience and the strength in me to find my way back because my compass was clear. I wanted to stay in the race. And many times during this, I joined an organization at a lateral level, or even on one occasion took a step back to move into a different role, with a better work-life balance. And as a human, it was extremely difficult for me to accept that there were others who potentially reported to you earlier and they went zooming right by you and were way ahead of you. But what really helped me was that I had my framework and I truly was on my own journey. And once that was clear in terms of what is my framework and my compass, it really helped me not to fall into a negative space, not to dwell on the past or even the current, but really be focused on how to catch up and just work towards the future. So at this point, looking back, I certainly think I caught up. And the biggest learning for me is that career is a marathon and not a sprint. And steering your own way and being on your own journey really makes it a sustainable path forward, especially on work-life integration, even more so for women. Now, through this journey, I like to share some of my experiences in case it may benefit others who are on a similar journey. My biggest learnings. For one, the first one I would say is, at many times, especially when you take a break, or even today when I take on many new challenges, the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome constantly creeps in. And your confidence and your resilience at this time to recognize that and then move past it is extremely important in your career. And how do you overcome this self-doubt more than your mental strength and your self-belief in yourself is also to constantly learn and stay relevant. So that's the second aspect which is really useful for me, is that at many times, especially women, are very comfortable in their role, where they have the right support system at work, and during that phase, want to not take up the next opportunity, even when you are aware that you're potentially stagnant in terms of your learning. And when that happens is when you become irrelevant in a few years, and self-doubt really, really creeps in and feeds into the vicious loop. So my learning is to always recognize when your learning is stagnant and take those chances, take the risks. Today, there are many organizations which do recognize the balance of understanding your needs of work-life integration and then supporting through this journey. So find that organization, but challenge yourself to really come out of your comfort zone and seek that next learning opportunity. Yet another aspect, that I learned over the years is also about how not to feel guilty for your own choices. Um, you define your compass, then you own it. And when you own it and are not guilty about your choices, the world around you recognizes that. They see the strength in you and they understand what's important for you and then will support you. I gave an example where I took a break. It may not always be possible for everybody. You might have other constraints in the system, but then recognizing that that is what you're choosing to not take a break and understanding and accepting the trade offs in your life and not feeling guilty about it will go a long way in not only you being happy, but also ensuring that others recognize that you are not guilty about your choices and then support you. So this is a challenge for me, surely, especially at that tough times when you go through this. I enjoy an occasional social outing with my colleagues, and I do not want to feel guilty that, oh, am I not spending this time with my children? That business trip or the next big opportunity you took on at work because you really wanted to, because it is a career booster or a learning opportunity, do not feel guilty for it. Make the choice, own the choice, and let the world know that this is your choice and priority. Now, having said this, how do you do this? You cannot do this without a support system. So, my last learning for today is create that support system for you at home and at work. Could be your mother in law, your husband, maybe a cook or household help, or a colleague or a manager at work. Build that support system and invest in it. At times, we don't invest in it without realizing that it's in the long term you're investing in your career, while in the short term it might seem like a lot of investment. So invest in your support system. And sometimes people around you may not be aware that you need that. So make sure you're visible and you're asking for help. Leverage this system around you. For me, I certainly was fortunate, even at work, on top of the support system I had at home, that I had a manager, or I have a manager who still believes in my potential, even more so than me at times. And every time I settle into a role, he challenges me to take on more. And that has been definitely very helpful for me in my career. At Providence, I'm extremely fortunate that I am in a role also as the DEI sponsor for Providence to influence and contribute to creating an environment where one can bring their own selves and thrive, and recognizing their need for their work priorities as well as life priorities. Providence, India is the Global Innovation Center for Providence. We are one of the largest US-based healthcare systems with about 52 hospitals, 1,000 plus urgent care clinics, generating a revenue of close to $26 billion. We are the first provider to set up an innovation center in India in early 2020, and we are currently about 1,000 plus strong organization, all built under the shadow of the pandemic. And one challenge for us, which then we converted into an opportunity, is to build this center ground up from scratch. The opportunity is to create from scratch a very diverse and inclusive organization. In line with the legacy of Providence, which was founded by 4 women in 1852, our focus was on gender diversity. And I'm extremely proud to say we're currently about 37% gender diversity across the organization, way above the industry standard. And even more so, we are about close to 40% women in the leadership roles of director and above. For the very first time in my career, honestly, I am surrounded by in a peer group with so many women. Almost always in the earlier parts of my career, I was the lone women voice in the room. So this is something very close to my heart. And I'm proud to say that we are very focused on creating a culture we not only attract diverse talent, but also create a very inclusive environment where they can bring their total self to work and then thrive in the environment. What are we focused on today at Providence is first on the workforce, where we are focused to hire as well as retain and develop a very diverse workforce, but also on the workplace, where starting from our benefits to our facilities, we're ensuring an inclusive workplace which accommodates the needs for everybody. And certainly our third focus area is on the marketplace, where we as Providence can influence and partner with the right organizations and play our part in creating a much more fair and just world with less biases at play. In conclusion, my call to all the women here, go grab those opportunities, take the risks, create the support systems around you, and enable yourself for your success by steering your own career. I wish you all the best for today as well as for future in your careers. Lastly, thank you again for this opportunity and for spending your time listening in to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for that inspirational words. Your sharings were all candid. You covered so many very small but very important things that all women go through as they look to make a career out of their talents. So thank you so much for that. Your intentionality says it all. And we're sure the audience today had a lot of food for thought from your